Hello, everybody. You can hear me correctly this time because my mic's not
Hello.
muted. Hello, Cyro, and everyone. Welcome back to the RPG Book Club. That is exactly what it says on the tin because we don't have a catchphrase yet. This month's game was Madou Monogatari, what I'm recently discovering was a classic little JRPG dungeon crawler and the originator of the Puyo Rora. It's not that I'm excited, I am sleepy. Anyways, the originator of the Puyo Pop series. Puyo Puyo? Sorry, do you know what it's actually called?
I thought the series was just called Puyo Puyo.
Puyo Puyo. I don't know where I got Puyo Pop from. I'm
And I'm
going
not
to...
I'm not sure if Puyo Puyo 1 came out for yeah. So Puyo Puyo came out in 1991. This came out in 1993. I believe.
Hang on. That seems odd because no, this was definitely where it came from. No, that's why we played this. Is because this was the game that Puyo Puyo spun off from.
Oh, okay. You just carried. No, you're right. 1990
Yeah, there
was
it
when this
is.
was. Yeah, for the MSX. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of versions. I got confused with the release dates.
Oh yeah, that's something we should get out of the way right quick. There are like 10 different versions of this game.
Let
It's a
me see.
lot.
There's the MSX, then there's the PC 98 version, then there's the Game Gear version, then there's the Genesis version and the TurboGrafx version.
Mega
The
Drive version.
TurboGrafx CD, yes, Mega Drive. Sorry.
I can say that because this wasn't released in America, so it was the
No,
Mega
it was
Drive
not.
version.
I feel
Which,
this would have been if this had been released. This would have been like kind of a real gem.
oh, it definitely would have been. It would have been completely unmarketable at the time.
Oh
There
yeah.
is no way that this is like we'll get to it when we talk about the story. But this game is like about as like Japanese kids anime as you can get. And I mean that affectionately, but it's still true.
Also, I'm pretty sure this footage is from the sequel. Because she's
Uh,
16 here and she's 5 in the original in this game.
why did what there? This one.
Yes, there you go.
Dear God. Okay. Well, I mean that's as appropriate way to start things off as any. So, you know, that does segue into the next thing, which is we should be clear here when we say it has a bunch of different versions. We're not talking like, early days of PC gaming where there's the Amiga version and the Commodore version and this or that. And you're just going through and you're like, oh, okay, this one has like an extra dungeon, or oh, this one's like slightly different graphically. No, these are basically all remakes of the entire game,
Yeah.
changing out massive swaths of the gameplay experience, altering the
Like
story, altering the theme. I did, yeah.
yeah, no, like especially the story definitely because like in the Game Gear, the PC engine, which is what I did, like the TurboGrafx CD, Super CD or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's PC Engine Super CD in Japan. But that's all pretty like sticks to the story as closely as as the original as closely as possible. But even here, like even the differences between the Game Gear intro and like the PC Super CD intro is like you have this little humanizing intro here for the Game Gear, where it's just like, oh, she's just a little kid. This isn't really a lot to put on her, but she's gonna be brave and she's gonna do this. And
Hmm.
like the PC Super CD is a full on like anime season intro.
Yeah.
Like it's just a bunch of action shots of her fighting monsters, like bravely
There's
pressing on that whole thing.
Yeah. And like the Mega Drive version, which is the one I played, that opens up with and I was even reading about this, like the reason she's doing this test in that version is that she randomly got a perfect score on the written test because she was just
Yeah, like
rolling her pencil.
yeah, exactly. That one I found like it had the most character, and
Hmm.
like we can get into it later, but I felt like adaptation wise, it just felt a lot more thought out. Like the thing she's going through in the tower, how it's set up as an actual test instead of just like, okay, you're locked in this tower. There's a bunch of monsters.
Hmm.
Go at it.
So, since well, we technically can't dwell on it super long, so how about we go over that story, that
Mhm.
theme of this whole game? Um, because I can very easily sum up the Mega Drive version. For the game is uber charming. There's a lot to love about it, but the basic story is very simple. Ale, a
Yeah,
little
go ahead.
little babby protagonist, ends up, she just randomly stumbles her way into perfecting the written test, which means that she is the only one in her magic kindergarten that is able to take the practical exam, which is this dungeon. Um, and that's about it. You go in the dungeon, you meet the characters, and then go finish your test, and that is the dungeon. And occasionally, the Mega Drive version in particular, will occasionally stop you and be like, do a little quiz, and then it'll give you a ding. And you can fail the
Mhm.
test if you don't do enough of the things correctly. But going through everything, you just you just meet characters along the way. You eventually get to the top, and there's like a hint of something sinister. But then when all's said and done, they're just like, congratulations, Ale, you did the test. And that's it. Everyone just sort of shrugs and moves on with their lives. It's very much an excuse plot. And that's not a bad thing. Again, it is made by the moment to moment. The characters you meet, the little interactions and animations, the actual layout of the floor, and the Mega Drive version in particular has a lot of small animations throughout the entire game for basically every single thing you're doing. And it's delightful. It's not any epic story, but it is delightful to play as you eventually, as I did, graduate Magic Kindergarten.
So I played the Mega Drive as well, but also like the PC Engine CD.
Hmm.
And as light as the story is there, it is still like miles ahead, I feel, of the PC of the PC Engine version, which is just like the little characters that Arl's bouncing off of throughout her like her adventure. That there's an older student who is much better at magic than she is that is helping her out, and
Hmm.
he's 7, so he knows what
Oh,
he's talking.
yeah.
And
I,
then
it's so good.
and then there's like another girl who is absolutely in love with the older kid, so she's chasing him around and setting up traps for him to get caught in so she can spend time with him.
Which, just to be clear on that, she is 5. And yes, they do
Yes.
basically act like they're that age, so, you know.
Yes, exactly. It's fantastic. The like tone wise perfect. And then there's the principal of the magic academy
Yeah.
who's like a Baba Yaga style witch sends you on your way, and it's just like very clearly like you meet someone in the tower who is very clearly the principal, but is just saying, no, of course not. I'm her cousin. I run the tower. Yeah. Go and do your thing.
Yeah, and then
But
I was
yeah,
like, okay, Miss Principal, and she's like, right.
but yeah, for the PC engine side, none of that is there.
Oh, wow.
So the only characters you meet are the weirdo monsters in the tower.
Which, to be fair, fantastic monster designs.
Oh
Just
yes.
very memorable. There's a reason they sort of held on through the Puyo Puyo series.
Yeah,
Era.
and they have the same kind of off kilter, off the wall humor. Like there's one of the first ones you run into is just a pile of bones. Like there's a magic book that teaches you heal like under his body, and you just take it, and he comes back to life, and he's like one of the skeleton key T guys.
Oh yes, Mr. T, the skeleton.
Yes, like
Yeah.
and he goes on a whole rant about like, oh, have the when the tea sprig sticks up in the tea, that's how you know you're gonna have a good day. It's a good luck fortune. Everybody knows that.
It's yeah, it's delightful. Like, I know a lot of the monsters in the Mega Drive version would just show up with just like there was the flea that was
Mhm.
actually just the tiniest thing on the planet.
Yeah,
Like
like
it
there's the only reason you know where it is because there's a giant arrow that says here,
yeah.
following the flea wherever it
Yeah,
goes.
the flea is like 1 pixel and it's just got this big arrow up top. It's like, there it is. Look at it. I never
Yeah,
did let the actual Puyo stack up to 4 and see if they disappear. I feel like they would have, but I never got that far.
I have seen footage where they do. I also
Yeah.
never had that happen
Uh
because like there is a in combat there is a certain amount of rocket tag going on where like especially early on, Arl Arl is 5. She is not very sturdy, and
yeah.
like especially in the Mega Drive version, I found like as you're progressing up, like taking 2 or 3 hits, maybe 4, when you enter like another floor for the first time, is about what you should expect.
Mm-hmm. Um yeah, I suppose the fact of the excuse plot is there's not a ton to say about the story. It's delightful, and anything more, I think with what you're saying, it is about time to move on to the gameplay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, no, that's good because the thing is, and so I'm just gonna start out with what I was right with essentially the point I made about this game in my review, which was that as far as the gameplay goes and the story and the theming, the big thing with this game is that it doesn't have numbers. You do not have a health bar, you do not have a mana bar, you do not have damage numbers, nothing like that. Every single interaction you have is done via text descriptions or animations. You check your health by looking at Ale. Does she look damaged? Your mana is remember how much you have. Did you cast too much? Like, see what the text says. Was that an effective spell? See what the text says. And the closest thing you get is the level up, which, as you can see in the Game Gear version, just fills up gems around the edge of the screen. Still not numbers,
Yes,
just symbols and words and feelings.
yeah, I thought that was like conceptually it is pretty interesting, but it ultimately works out to just be okay. You are putting in abstract numbers in your head,
Oh yes,
basically.
absolutely. But I think where this works really well, it's I'm gonna go all the game journalist ludonarrative synchronicity. It feels like you're a toddler who didn't study, and you're like, I don't. How does magic work again? Fire, fire, big fire. Oh no, I ran out of mana. Wait, how many? I can do like, hang on, counting on your fingers, like 1, 2,
Yeah,
3. I can do 3 power up spells, and then I need to cast fire or go get more mana. And it's like, how much does this heal me for? A lot. A little bit. you know,
yeah,
that
exactly.
monster, how much health does that monster have? Not much. Oh, that one's got
It
a fair bit. You know, no
that one,
math. Yes,
I've
someone.
hit that one 3 times, and it still looks like it's raring to go.
This is a strong one. Yeah. Someone hits it on the head. There is no math. You're too young to do math. You have to intuit everything like a child. And it's
I did stream it
fantastic.
for yeah, I did stream it for some people, and they were like, "Wait, if she doesn't know math, how does she know what floor she's on?"
I mean, even a child can count. She can
Yeah.
count 1, 2, 3, 4, but she can't figure out how much mana she's spending. That's way beyond her. But you
Mm.
ask the child, like, "Hey, look out the window. What floor are we on? The second floor." Yeah, that's right. It feels like you're a kindergartner playing a JRPG, and that's delightful. It's actually just so pleasant to play because it's so simple.
Yeah.
Um, and I just think that's fantastic design. I don't know how the sequels continue on that concept, whether they change it or keep the lack of numbers. I just think it's like genius as far as matching the themes of the story to the gameplay, especially if it's such an early entry.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like this is conceptually it's pretty impressive. I did think because of how close the PC engine hews to the original, it seemed like the dungeons themselves were very small. And
I
like if you're making like a a kid's first dungeon crawler, which you might think might be helped by having no numbers, I could understand that. But that also meant like there was a point where I got blocked progress wise in the PC engine because of what the door sprites looked like.
ooh.
Because there's one where you have a shut room and there's a hole in the wall. How do I get up here? You have to use like a jar called a flood vase.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one. But because the doors looked like gates with like open bars, I didn't even think that that would be a solution. Like it's just like, well, the water's just gonna run out there. So I need a
Yeah,
rope. I need
there's
something.
there's a few guide dang it moments like in the Mega Drive version you get the warp spell which only lets you go up and then you're
Mhm.
like there's no ladder up to the next floor. But it won't let you warp up until you solve the puzzle. Cause there's like hard limits on when you can and can't use warp so that you can't use it to cheat. And then
Right.
you're like, but I need to warp up. Surely it's like, no, it's a flood vase. It's that It's unrelated. The warp was an entirely unrelated puzzle, and you're like, oh my god. But
Yeah,
also,
I did like how the
yeah,
so you are talking about the Mega Drive, right?
yeah,
Yeah, okay. That's not any better in the PC engine. Especially
yeah,
because like when I got blocked by the flood vase puzzle because it's just like, well, obviously this doesn't work. I should have just used it, but also flood vases are 1,000 gold, and that's a lot
Mm-hmm.
harder to get up in that version. So I didn't want to just waste it. But yeah, so there's another thing in there where it's just like, okay, so there's this wall of a plaque that says, if you have bravery in your heart, walk forward. If not, seek to improve yourself. And so I walked forward, and there's another guy. There's a weird monk on the other side who says, "You are not strong enough to take this path. You must improve yourself." And I thought, okay, I need to level up. Like, I can't do this other thing over here. This must be the path forward and wants me to be a certain level. It's an old game. So I just walked back and forth, grinding levels. And at some point, it gave me the warp spell based on level up.
Ah, interesting.
So how you're supposed to get it is that there's a plaque, you use the plaque, and the plaque, like, by using it at the plaque, you warp up immediately. Like, you warp up as a consequence of learning the spell. So you're right at the right location, you just warp up and you're done. Since I had warp from learning it naturally, that plaque vanished. So now I didn't know where to use warp. I had to go look it
Dear. That's yeah, that's a god dang it moment, alright, yikes. I don't think the Mega Drive version has you learning spells like that via level up for that reason, actually. You have to
No,
find all of them.
that seems like a big oversight, especially since it's like, okay, you put a plaque here so that I could learn the spell at the correct location. Why do I also learn it on level up?
Yeah, it's not ideal. There's definitely a
Yeah.
lot of moments that are iffy like that. There's also it's also weird stuff like how there's in the Mega Drive version there's a boss fight against the 7-year-old. If you go up to a
Mm.
floor at too low a level, he'll be like, I don't know that you're strong enough. I have to test you. Yet if you're a higher level, you skip that fight, which
What?
is like
I had to do that fight 3 times.
yeah, I went up there and fought him, and I was like, okay, so I could go level up to skip this fight, or I could just do it properly. And I'm like, I mean, well, I may as well do it. It's more interesting that way. But that's such a weird decision.
Yeah.
Um, Stuff like that, the warp being insanely inconsistent, it being very unclear and like sparse about like quick travel or shops or things like that.
Mhm.
And some moments that are like, put in here the item that you get for combining a radish with a with wine. I don't know. And you're like, well, I
Yeah.
could use this as a, or I could just Google it and not waste my items. So you end up Googling it and not wasting your
See,
items.
a few of those I did end up just guessing and was right. But yeah, eventually it's just like, insert the item that you get when you combine 2 silver apples. And I'm just like, I haven't seen 1 silver apple. What are you talking
Mm-hmm.
about?
And then you
And
look,
like I had to look it up and realize, oh, it's a golden apple, but also you make that from the 2 silver apples, which are monster drops.
yep, and it's like, oh boy, time to farm.
Yeah,
It
like
was,
that also seemed very strange.
yeah, I pin a lot of that on, well, essentially, oh, we need to stretch out the last little bit of gameplay. Let's make it really, really hard. Because you also don't
Yeah,
need a perfect score. You can get by with just, like, good enough. Yeah, you only need, I think it's 90 out of 100 points. So, essentially, you can, so long as you're doing everything, you can skip some of the worst of it. Which is usually those
yeah.
last few quizzes. Oh, it's the weird eggplant. Oh, dang it!
Tanganatsu.
That's for the advent calendar. Quick, someone play the. Wait, no, I played it this month. That should count, right? I can just
Yeah,
take it.
totally counts.
But I don't have my save file anymore.
All the little voice clips
Oh yeah,
are still stuck in my head. Like
they're
you run
delightful.
into this guy so many times. I'm just like, I see him and immediately go, Atonganasu.
Mm-hmm. Or there's the dragon girl on the high levels that just goes gow 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 gow. It reminds me of another VTuber I know who also goes gow 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 gow.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um. But oh, there was one thing I wanted to talk about was how the Mega Drive version expands on certain concepts. So like we were talking about the area you get warp in. And in
yeah, just a bit. Just a bit, Doctor.
uh so in the turbo in like the turbo CD version and
Yeah.
the original, um occasionally you will run into enemies that are copies of our role, and
Oh.
they're just there. Like this tile set you're seeing on the GBA is essentially how all of these floors look, and there's no special event other than the plaque that teaches you warp, because you read it and you go up down up and then you warp up.
Ah.
In the Mega Drive version, like that area where you fight the aural copies is all mirrors. There's certain paths you have to open up by running into the mirrors that don't reflect you.
Yep.
Uh and that's also where you fight all the copies, and getting warp there is going to a certain portion after you get through this whole button maze on the
Oh god,
previous
the
level.
button maze.
Yeah, that took me a
Uh,
while.
that's not a
And
fun maze.
and you get up there and you fight a kind copy of Arl who says, "I'm going to teach you this, but you have to prove that you can surpass me."
Yep.
And that also is just like, there's so much more thought put into that concept. It's just like, here's the mirror floor where all the copies are. Like, you also have to track down a bad copy of Arl named Warl. So, like, yeah, exactly. They're on the Wario kick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like, you have to, because Warl has already stolen something from a shop and then bumped into you and slipped what she stole into your pocket so that you would get blamed for it. So now you have to track her down and like bring her to the shopkeeper to prove you are not a bad girl.
Basically.
And it's
Because
just like that whole, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, because if you're a bad girl, you lose points on the test.
Yes.
It's very important. You have to earn your good girl points.
But yeah, it's just like that whole arrangement, that whole part of the game is so much more thought out than just here's the location where we put warp, and also here's a painting that's on fire that you need to go up a floor and get the fire medicine to go up to.
Yeah, I think in the Mega Drive version, it was just a fire extinguisher.
Yes, it is just a fire extinguisher, which is much funnier.
Or you could just cast cold.
Can you
Which
just cast cold?
yeah, you can. The game does have multiple solutions to some things. Like even something as simple as some of the tests will like put something edible in here, and you can put anything as long as you can
Yeah,
eat it.
that's true.
Also, do we point out the underage drinking because you regen mana using alcoholic beverages?
Look, man, it's wizards. They don't have any sense of right or wrong.
True. No, it's clearly just a bunch of mocktails. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Rubio.
also, I mean that like some of them are like monster sake or something. It's just like, would this get you drunk? I have no idea. Maybe monsters just get drunk on like, I don't know, mineral
I'm
water.
maybe, but the lowest level one is definitely just called Wizard Wine in the Mega Drive version.
Yeah, that's true. Also, it's just a glass. They're just carrying
Also,
around a glass of water.
like towards the end, and this isn't in the Mega Drive version because the versions are so different. There are different boss fights. Um, in some of the versions, there's like a straight up horror monster, an
Oh
actual
yeah,
just body horror in the game. It's
yeah. No,
terrifying.
something that is in. So like, it's not in the others. Wait, age is in the are very fuzzy.
Oh yeah, because they drink at like 5 years old.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if this was like a take on the Middle Ages, that would probably be correct. You don't want to drink the water. But yeah, what was I saying?
The horror version.
Yes. So in the original version of the game, all these cute little monsters you're seeing on the screen in the Game Gear and all the others, no, those are just normal monsters. They're just normal fantasy monsters like
I will
the
correct you on that slightly. The
okay,
original version of the game, they are not uber chibi adorable, but they are also not scary. Like scary, there are a lot
right.
of them are normal monsters. The PC 98 version, on the other hand, goes full on horror and actually changes all of these into like terrifying monsters, like undead, like
Yeesh.
actual just body horror. The
Okay.
original version is actually that the one thing the Mega Drive version does have is the original final boss, which is not the body horror one. It is just like uh some kind of strange alien fire chicken thing. I don't know, it was in the Puyo Puyo games as like one of the bosses. But that was in the MSX version and the Mega Drive version. All the others had this creepy ass wizard who like it melted people's. It's like absurdly dark. Just yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
that is a little much,
yeah.
I feel.
It's you think, oh, Metal Monogatari is cute little game, and then you buy the wrong version. You're like, whoops, sorry, kids. Time to watch like I don't even know what to compare it to.
I
Time to
mean, I
rate.
guess that would be kind of appropriate for like the era of this is coming out of, because like you had kids watching like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that, and like the first couple episodes, just like, oh yeah, these two guys get their chests destroyed, like just a hole put in their
Okay,
chest.
but that's like shonen. This is
Yeah,
like what's the level below shonen? Like children's anime?
yeah,
Like Pokemon or like, the real babby anime stuff. That's what this is. And then it just pulls out that stuff. Remember that Hokuto no Ken is also a shonen, yeah. Shonen is like teen, like you can be young teen or old teen, but it's still teen.
right.
It or is it, hang on, I got double. This is like Saturday morning kids anime. Um young
Have you ever seen the Pokemon manga?
Yeah. Hey, I'm not saying it can't be weird, just
Yeah,
shonen shoujo say no. Oh, these are here we go. Kodomomuke, directed at children. Yeah, this sounds right. Kodomomuke, yeah, that's what it is. That's like your Hamtaro, your Pokemon, Crayon
hmm
Shinchan. That's what this feels like. Is like very, very young kids. This sounds like you showed your kids Madoka Magica by mistake. Yes, that is the PC98 version. Yeah, that's just like, oh my god, this was not. And it's so cute, and like the Mega Drive version is just so adorable. It's
Look,
so adorable.
I'm just gonna say I saw Terminator and It when I was 7, and I turned out fine.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 with Yumimoto, but everyone in elaborate soul-style death games. Ah, yes, before they created the card game. That's the way. Alright.
Yeah, so we talked about story, we've talked about gameplay.
Mm-hmm. If anyone else has anything they'd like to say, of course, just hop in mystery waiting room, and I'm happy to drag people in to chat more about stuff. If anyone has any points to make, I'll say that now. That's the only other thing really is this game's legacy, because boy does it have a legacy. I forget what the official English translation is. It's like, hang on. Because it's not just Puyo Puyo. This is still getting games made. The same franchise. It's like Magic Saga. Hang on. Madou Monogatari English name.
Sorcery Saga.
Sorcery Saga. That's it. Yeah, it's still getting games made to this day. Just still, well, essentially in the same way that there's cute 'em ups, there's these cute JRPGs, and which I think is nice. I feel like, well, honestly, outside of the cozy life sim shit, you don't get like actual full-on JRPGs, dungeon crawlers that are in this cutesy style. You know, like this aesthetic these days is limited to, you know, farming sims. Harvest Moon, whatever. The fact that this is a full-on dungeon crawl, like, make no mistake, it may cut out the numbers, it may have a different theming, but it's still a dungeon crawler. Like, that remains true, and I think that's worth celebrating, honestly.
Ultimately, it did have the thing that it is an older game, but I felt like it had the combined problem of the encounters were too high, and also battles, especially in the Mega Drive version, took way too long.
Oh yeah, that's like, I mean, that's
And
part and parcel for that era, but it doesn't make it any less
yeah,
true.
but yeah, like as a person who loves dungeon crawlers, you can have a lot of encounters, but they're quick, or you can have low encounters and they take a while. If you have both, I'm at some point I'm just kind of out.
Yeah, it's it is what it is. Dagda making the point about how do you market Sorcery Saga in the West, which is funny because the answer to that is the simple old, you just market it as exactly what it is. A JRPG with a very cute aesthetic. Guess what? People will play that. Plenty of like, are you kidding? People would love that shit.
If there was like a fair translation of this when I was growing up, I would have loved this game.
Right?
I would have played the hell out of this.
It's just so cute, but it's still got just enough of an edge to it that a kid doesn't feel like it's for literal toddlers, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, and there's the fact that, like, you know, go back to story for a second. As Ale goes through the tower, like, she starts, especially in the Mega Drive version, she starts off very like, I don't know what's going on, and I'm in way over my head. To, no, hang on, I can cast some spells. I learned what I'm doing. I can get through this tower. Fire, fire, etc. And it's nice. It's just a very nice game to play. It's a very good fit for the book club. That's for certain.
Hold on, I need to charge up my 3 diacutes here.
Yeah. Diacuto. Diacuto.
That
Diacuto.
that was
Diacuto.
that was the best part when all the diacute lines just like layer on top of each other, and whoever made that decision
Yeah.
needs a raise.
That yeah, to be clear, exactly as I was saying that, that's like every power up level of Diacute as the spell. It's like every time you do it, she just adds more Diacuto. It's so good. And it's like the most effective way to deal with any enemy is just like charging up to max level Diacute. You just spam Diacute, which also I guess that's worth mentioning. It is only the Mega Drive version that does it, but the Mega Drive version
Yeah.
uses like Street Fighter combo inputs for casting spells. Like you do like down up left right down up left. No, what was it down down up left right, and then that casts and then release and that casts a spell, and Ale does like a little dance while you're doing it. I have no clue
Uh,
why, but it's interesting.
Something that I realized was that and that was the only reason I beat the Kamu boss fight,
Yeah.
is that so there in the Mega Drive version there's something called an Amigo capsule,
Oh yeah.
which I don't was this before Pokemon?
Uh
This was, right?
yes. I think. Hang on. When did Red and Blue release?
I thought it was 97.
Red and Blue released Pokemon Red and Blue was 96, which can... Yeah, so yeah, this was before Pokemon.
Huh.
I don't know if it was before Digimon though. Hang on. Original Digimon toy release date was no before that too. Wow, okay. Oh my
Nice.
wait, what was it? Hang on, was the Amigo capsule in the original version though?
No, it wasn't.
Mattel
It was
Monogatari
from what I saw, it was strictly the Mega
Mega
Drive.
Drive release date. That was still 93. Alright, wow. Oh my god, I can't believe Pokemon stole from Monogatari.
But yeah, no. Like the only reason I beat that boss fight was using the Amigo capsule, which is a little thing that can capture a monster that you're fighting, and then you can bring them out to fight for you. So I caught a copy Arl, figured out she could use Diacute, and then sent the copy Arl out, and just had that fight for me because like the copy Arl was just as strong, but I did but if it bit the dust, I didn't have to worry. I had all my magic, I had all my power, and she had infinite magic.
Yeah, Dag, it is funny you mentioned Shin Megami Tensei because there's probably some direct inspiration there. For as cute as this game is like, yeah, they probably did play that. You know, same first-person dungeon crawl, and this was a very popular thing in Japan at that era. Like
Mm-hmm.
that one weird-ass game on the, it was in Gamer of the Year. It had neat music, and that was about it. It didn't even have level ups. It was just like it didn't even have a boss fight. It was just get to the end of the floor, and it was one floor each level.
Oh, was this the robot game?
Yeah, it was like
With the
red something
parts?
or other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw you play that. That was
that
something.
was that was a game of all time. Yes, indeedy.
But yeah, especially like the last point I want to bring up. It's weird to see all these different ideas and different iterations on this title and realize that since this is the Puyo Puyo people, this is Compile doing this. Especially when you think of Compile now, like what they're putting out. Like
What are they
there's
putting out? I don't know.
uh Super Dimension Neptunia.
Wait, that was them?
I'm pretty sure.
You know, I could see it, actually. Hang on. I'm curious now.
Yep, Super
Compile.
Dimension
Yep.
Neptunio.
That confirms.
Yeah,
I
Idea Factory and Compile.
honestly, yeah, actually, I can see that line. They're, I mean, it's, yeah, you know, in that sense, it's like, yeah, here's a JRPG that is a JRPG, but just a really, really strong and non-serious aesthetic. It's like, I can see the connection there, actually.
Yeah.
Well, good on them. Good on them. You know, they deserve it.
Yeah,
It's good. I like seeing a
I
dev
mean,
team keep doing a
ultimately,
fun thing.
yeah, they're still around. They're still kicking. So, congrats.
Mm-hmm. Uh, I'll note again if anyone has anything they would like. Ooh, I see Triscorp. All right, I probably should have noticed that sooner. All right, Triscorp, hello. I just noticed you in the waiting room. Sorry if you've been
Hello.
waiting there for a while.
Hey, it's okay.
So,
I just have like,
hmm?
Go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I have some few things I want to add because I played the PC 98 version.
Oh
Mm,
boy.
First thing is, art style is like a little bit more like serious. Like, but here's the thing: the voices the monsters do, they are really funny. They're pretty like, for example, this fish enemy that has like muscles and stuff. It just goes, "Eesh." Whenever he
right.
does a, it's like couple that with it like this, the more serious art style, it just makes it really fun.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I remember this fish guy. It's like Suke Toabora or something.
You're talking about the fish with legs, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
and in that game, it's that version is actually looks like a fish. It's like a real salmon with arms and legs.
Okay, that's a really good joke. That does sound like something you'd see out of like a modern day indie thing, which is just like picture of fish, picture of like bodybuilder arms and legs.
Yeah, it's exactly that.
That's really
Oh my god, Dagda, sorry, Dagda just linked me. Did Sorcery Saga seriously have a collector's edition that came with a bib and like toddler's spoon and plate?
Oh, come on.
Oh my god.
Come
They
on.
have no idea how to market this thing.
I mean, it's
Oh
90s
no.
marketing.
I gotta confirm this thing. No, this is like the modern Sorcery Saga. Oh no!
Uh,
I Google it. One of the first auto completes is Sorcery Saga Bib. Oh no, it's real.
but yeah, so did you have anything else to bring up, Triscorp?
I'm not really sure because I think he added a bunch of stuff in later versions because the PC 98 there's only 6 floors,
Oh
no
wow,
basement.
sounds very short.
Yeah, that's
It's like a
wow.
5-hour game. But
Yeah, especially like the Turbo CD. Like
Yeah.
I stopped at floor 6 and there was a puzzle I think that required you to fall through a floor at a dead end and then use warp to get back up standing on the hole and then ram your face into a wall and I'm just like, okay, you know what? I might be done. but also there was a basement on top of that. So like, there's no basement, there's no anything. It's just 6 floors and you're done.
There's some puzzle, like I think there's one spell book inside a floor wall. It's only one wall that has like one. You just run into it and you get an item, and that's it. Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah,
Weird.
but there are some like puzzles, like some of them are weird. Like it's one where you have to collect 4 bricks and place it in a spot on the 4th floor. And I tried that. It didn't do anything. I was like, what do I do now? I have this warp spell. I warp, I warped like underneath from the 3rd floor into the room that was on the other side. It was like one of the magic orbs you need to beat the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I collected that and was like exploring the room, and then I got like back around, looked at the wall again, tried to put it in, and it was like, oh, you have like oh, nothing happens, but oh, these 2 orbs you have in your inventory make something happen, and you open the door.
Oh god.
Which where was the orb I was from? I was like, I didn't think about the warp spell at all. Just coming from the bottom. It's kind of silly like that. They just thought of the warp spell to get to the 6th floor, but nothing else. But it's really really weird.
That is really strange. Like,
That's some jank right there. Oh my god. So I just noticed the
Think
Game
about
Gear one is on the ice floor where Arle keeps
oh
bumping
yeah,
her head on the wall.
and you have to use like the wall maker
I
to
don't know if
actually
that's
get
in
through.
this version, but I just love that she bumps her head on the wall every time.
I think I just saw her
Oh
push the
yep.
wall. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, the wall. Is it an item in the Game Gear version? Because it is in the PC 98.
Yeah,
It's an item you have to buy from a shop.
Yep.
yeah, that's the same thing in like the Turbo CD and also I believe the
Mega Drive,
I
yep.
believe yeah, it's the same thing in the Mega Drive.
And also, like the water, the jar with water, you have to fill up a room to get to the 5th floor.
Yep.
That's
Flood
also
base.
a buyable item. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
And
yeah.
I did learn the hard way. Like I had saved earlier and just tried it out. And if you are not in the room that wants you to use it, you will just use it and it will break.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I
Mm-hmm.
tried that and they wouldn't let me. Which is weird. Kind of
Really?
weird. Yeah.
Huh. Because I
It's kind
definitely remember that happening on the Turbo CD, but like, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of not surprised that like the different versions have like, oh no, this is a puzzle solution, we can't have them use that there, and then another one like someone just decided, I mean, if they want to use it, they can. I'm not going to stop them.
pretty pretty good. Uh,
Yeah.
it's one thing that Nico mentioned when I playing this game. Like this magician that caused Jog Storm, whatever. In the PC 98 version, they drain your XP. They can
What?
just drain your XP. Yeah. So
Good
if you have
god.
XP to the next level, they will just take all of it away. If they get the wall right for the spell.
That's
So like,
some Shin Megami Tensei shit.
yeah, so
That
I was like stuck on one level. I'm just like, can you stop? I'm just like killing one of them, and then the next one is just like, I'm gonna drain it. I'm just kept getting my XP back, and I was like, this is
yeah,
getting
that's
old.
horrible. Oh my god. Yeah, that's definitely some like Shin Megami Tensei Maka beam stuff where it's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna steal like half your wallet. I know you don't get
Uh,
it back.
mm-hmm. Oh
Not even
goodness.
defeating the enemy gets you back. It's just like you get the XP from the enemy drops. What about the XP they drained? I don't know.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm very glad I didn't play the PC Engine then.
yeah, same. I'm glad I started to make a try for the sounds of things.
I mean,
Oh my
it was
goodness.
pretty funny. It was short and pretty funny with the voices. I'm not sure if I know in that version they have like the enemies have voices for like they doing attacks and getting hit. The magician has like if you hit the magician, he goes. "Ugh."
Oh
It's a
yeah.
really good voice.
Yeah, I do remember like there are voice clips in the Mega Drive, but like the big thing that stood out to me was that the Super CD was fully voiced. Like every bit of text in that game was voiced.
Oh wow. Wonder how much that cost them back in the day.
Yeah, I know. But was the PC Engine the same way, Tris?
Uh, I mean, it's just enemy taking damage, casting spells and stuff like that.
Okay.
It was like one moment where like I met a werewolf, I caught fire on it, and it was like in the text, it was engulfed in flames. I'm just like, what is happening? I've never seen it before. And
Yep.
this and the sprite was just like just engulfed in flames. It was just on fire. I was like, what is happening?
That was something I forgot to bring up. Like that is very similar to the Super CD combat. Was that you wanted to find out to try to spell some enemies that inflicted some sort of status effect, whether it was being set on fire or frozen or paralyzed from lightning or doubled over laughing from the like there's a spell that makes people feel really good, so they just start laughing. And then like when they have some sort of status effect, the next attack does incredibly high damage and usually just kills them.
Oh,
Ah yeah.
I,
And I
weird thing
remember,
is,
yeah, go ahead.
weird thing is, it only happened once,
Oh,
only once. I was like, why didn't it happen again? I casting fire on them. It
Just
was
the
really
one
weird.
werewolf you accidentally burnt to a charred crisp.
yeah, I remember it might have just been like I was playing it for longer, but I felt like that happened a ton in the Super CD. Like especially the werewolf being werewolves catching on fire. I definitely remember that happening a bunch. Because otherwise, it's just like, oh, a werewolf. I'm going to run away because you can kill me very easily on the first floor.
Yeah,
Where did
yeah.
this over there?
I did see the Puyos getting frozen and stuff. That was
Mm-hmm.
common, but it just like the werewolf like it only happened once. It's really weird.
Hmm.
Alright.
I think
Well,
that's it.
thank you
I
for
think
coming on, Trisco. Thank you for sharing your your PC adventures.
it was it was an experience. Yeah.
Yeah, that sure sounds like it.
Yeah, especially it's always valuable to hear like the different versions play out, and that sounds
Mm-hmm.
again very different from any of the other
Oh
versions that
yeah.
were played here. Just wild.
Forgot to mention one thing.
Sure.
Yeah, the crit chance was extremely high. It was like at 30% or something, both for the enemy and for yourself. It was like
Really.
it happened really often.
Hmm.
It was getting frustrating at parts where it's like I just hope they don't crit, so I actually don't like I don't die from it, and they just like crit. I'm just like dead.
That might have been like part of the difference between them then, because like I don't remember a lot of crits happening in the Super CD, but like status effects were very common, so that might have been their way to like change it up and make the game a little smoother for people, a little less unpredictable.
Yeah,
But yeah, that does sound very frustrating.
yeah. I think I only had like sleep and like paralysis. I think there was one item that just makes them petrified too, and that was pretty much it.
Huh. Yeah, I remember sleep. I forget what the feel good spell was called. Beyond
Oh, Bioen.
Bioin.
Yeah,
That was
that was
it.
not in this at all.
Uh,
Diacute
Huh.
was, and I killed the final boss with like 2 Diacutes and like the really powerful spell, and just like dead.
huh.
Wow.
Yeah, I know
Yeah, that go ahead.
the final boss in the Mega Drive version took like I had to like spam like 5 fully powered Diacute fires in order to get anywhere. It was a rougher one.
And that's also like that there's a fight where Kamu fights him, right? Right before that.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite intense actually.
Hmm.
It's only like one boss. It's not like no grading in the game either.
Oh wow.
You know?
Yeah, that was the same thing for the Turbo CD. Like it's just get through the floor, get the 3 things. Okay, you're done. Here's the boss.
Yep.
Huh. Again with the version differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put a lot of effort just making all this port. It's really
Yeah, just a
strange,
bit.
actually.
It's like they kept having new ideas and decided that redoing an existing game was the place to put them in. I don't know.
It kind of
It's a
make
weird thing.
it kind of makes me feel like, you know, the sort of thing that's like you have new people coming in and it's just like okay, so that this will be the thing that you learn on. If you have any ideas, feel free to put in. And like that's how you got all these different ideas, all these version differences. Is just new people
Maybe.
coming in and say, "Well, I think."
It's one, yeah, it is definitely one of those things where unfortunately we'll never really know.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, it's not the sort of thing you'll get a good answer for, like, why was this change made? Like,
yeah.
well,
There's
maybe it's somewhere in some Famitsu interview from like 20 years ago, but good luck finding that, you know?
I really don't think it is. I just don't think there's the cultural cachet to get like a retrospective on Sorcery Saga.
In Japan, there probably would be.
Maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Like, in the West, not a chance. In Japan, maybe. There might be something somewhere out there. But, God, you'd have to go digging for it.
Hmm.
But that's the way with a lot of these older games. I mean, heck, I'm still trying to get Ultima in, and that's a series that. Look, well, to be fair, that one has a much easier answer in that it is Richard Garriott thought it'd be funny, and then that's your answer. I don't know if there's an equivalent to that for Sorcery Saga. But anyways, Trisco, again, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your experience. If anyone else wants to, feel free to hop in the waiting room as well, and we can keep rotating, and unless you had any other thoughts,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, always happy to
Anytime.
have a new voice on. Yeah.
Have a good time.
You too.
Mhm.
Oh
So
yeah, now we get to the part everyone's been waiting for. The
Yep.
future game reel.
that's right. It's Madou Monogatari too. No, all right. Let me get the PowerPoint up.
Unfortunately, there is no translation for the other games in the series, so
Yet. Also,
Yet.
are we sure? I feel like there's going to be a lot of versions of those. And not that one.
I
Oh,
actually don't think there are terribly many versions of 2 and 3. It's just one that kept getting remade.
it definitely feels like the sort of series that would be popular enough to have a actual answer on that stuff. Anyways, we got an RPG book club to take a look at.
Yeah.
So let's see what is up. The time for these submissions are limited. So if you are watching this and you have not voted, get ready to go do so now, because you essentially have 1 day left. This is a bit of a last minute thing. People were busy over Christmas. TPC not in the best position. We all hope he's doing better, but let's get to scrolling through the January 2024 game submissions. First up, Kawui, or The World Ends With You if you prefer.
Twee-wee.
From the sounds of things, we have a lot of people who've played or heard of this game but never finished it. Having recently finished it myself, it is extremely worth playing through, especially for a lot of us who remember the era it was originally released in. Typo. Both DS and Switch versions are fully playable, if tricky to 100%, and the main story isn't unpleasantly long. Well worth the vote if you've not played it already. That one's from me. So yeah, I don't think I need to explain to Wooey more than that. Racing Lagoon from Mooware. Square's self-described high-speed driving RPG is known for its stylish presentation and bizarre riding full of pathos. Mechanically, it's a racing game with an RPG-ish narrative and overworld structure, and very open car customization. I have never heard of this game before, and it sounds fascinating. I want to play it.
I've seen a fair amount, and the thing that's always stuck with me is there's a system where you get rewards from racing well, and they called it Get Rewards.
I mean, they're just being honest about it at that point, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's just like specifically they titled the things you get as Get Rewards.
Yeah, because you get rewards. Makes sense to me, and I'm the robot around here.
And everyone's treating it very like Get Rewards. It's
And
fantastic.
from Sir Nico, we have Lenus 2, The Apostles of the Seals. The Japan-only sequel to Lenus, which was released in the USA as Paladin's Quest. The series is notable for some unusual mechanics, such as healing being done exclusively through rechargeable bottles, like Estus Flasks in Dark Souls, and half your party slots are filled by minor character mercenaries you're encouraged to frequently swap and dismiss. The hero has a flexible pool of equipable magic spells, encouraging you to freely customize your loadout as you go, rather than being constrained by a single build, and side quests that reward you with increased flexibility in your customization. The Lenus series is also notable for its bright, pastel-heavy color scheme and bizarre, bubbly alien architecture, making it stand out from your typical stone brick medieval fantasy and gunmetal grey sci-fi. It is at once standard JRPG fare, but also unusual and strange, invoking novelty and nostalgia at the same time, has an English fan translation, of course. I've never heard of this series before. Looks
I've been
interesting.
pecking away at Paladin's Quest for about it feels like 6 years now.
Oh boy.
I just it's not a terribly long game, and they are fascinating in how they play and just like the general aesthetic they have, but I just keep picking it up, thinking, yeah, I could, and then like something disastrous happens.
Oh my. Alright, well, we also have from our mega number Shin Megami Tensei If. This is a guidance spin-off of the original SMT series, and this is essentially Persona Zero. Explore a demon-infested high school and see where things began. Also, there's multiple routes based on which companion you pick, so we could split up and compare notes after. Also, someone asked for a crunchy number at SNES game, and this fits the bill. Do we need to say anything else about SMT? It's SMT. Hey, we've already even had an SMT game in Digital Devil Saga.
This is definitely more early Persona
Oh yeah.
than late Persona.
Oh yeah, if people have only played like the late Personas, early Personas are weird. I haven't even played them and I know that.
But like you have the character and then the persona modifies the character instead of just the persona is the character.
Alright. We also have Dragon's Dogma from Spartacat. Dragon's Dogma is an open world RPG where you and your squad run around and kill big monsters. The writing is good and the music is incredible. The game is at its best when is you facing off against the biggest guy you can find, and it's on sale. A wonderful action RPG. Honestly, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like Dark Souls before Dark Souls was a thing. It has a very
Didn't it
like
come out after
brutal.
Dark Souls?
Did it? Oh, there's no way. The original Dragon's Dogma?
I think so.
That's an old ass game though. Yeah, Dragon's Dogma is 2012. When did Dark Souls 1 came out? Dark Souls 1 came out 2011, really?
Yep, it came out before.
Huh. Interesting. Because
go ahead.
Yeah, no, because I could have sworn like this. The main reason I say that is Dragon's Dogma doesn't feel like it was inspired. It was like, oh, we're gonna do the Dark Souls thing. It was very much its own thing.
It could not have. Like they were in
well,
development at the same
Demon
time.
Demon Souls, remember?
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it is fairly actiony as well. So I don't think it's trying to go for that, but it is like dark fantasy with some Monster Hunter bits.
Yeah, it is a very dark fantasy. It's a good game, and I'm glad it's getting a sequel, even if that sequel seems to be doing its own development hell.
Whatever these days.
True. We have from Syro. Oh, would you like to read this one?
Please, I've been waiting so long. I just want to play the epic saga of Nakaruru and her friends Champ Chim and Galford. I guess he can come along. Galford's lucky he's a dog guy. That's all I'm saying.
I see.
But yeah, there's a whole bunch of different characters you can select. Like it's a chapter-based storyline. It's kind of Saga Frontierish, I think.
Oh.
I'm not terribly sure. Don't quote me on that.
I'm just looking at it like, isn't Sam Show a fighter?
Yeah, it is. They made an RPG. Want to play it?
I'm not sure. Does it play like Indivisible where you do combos?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, that's a missed opportunity.
I think it is. I think it is just an RPG.
It was an RPG spin-off on the Neo Geo console. I think it got put.
This is it.
Yes,
this is it.
Dagda.
This is the one.
Dagda, you're reading what's on screen right now. This is what that is. Dagda, this is RPG Book Club. You realize that, right?
They just came out with a fan translation this month. That's why it's on the board. I'm so excited.
Yeah, Dagda, you've got this. Anyways, you can make everyone play Sam Show, and then you can be like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
I
there
think
there
part
is a
is
PS1 port.
yeah.
I did look into this. The translation does include it runs off the Neo Geo CD, but it includes parts of the PS1 remake that you can turn on and off.
Oh, that's nice.
Like there are gameplay differences.
Yeah. Also, Dag, that I was confused because you said that there was an RPG spin-off, not this was an RPG spin-off. So I was like, you were saying like they're implying. Anyways, moving on. Suikoden 2 from Cine. Suikoden 2 is considered to be one of the best PS1 RPGs, and I'm curious to see why that's the case. Oh, hey, that's the same reason we had Vagrant Story. Well, there we go. Nice and simple. Like I don't. It's weaker than like it's it's a PS1 era JRPG from Konami apparently. Neat. And from Zenic Reverie, Contact. This is the first RPG fully developed by Grasshopper Manufacture, Suda51 Studio, although he didn't work on this. Directed by Akira Ueda, a map and background designer from Square who worked on Super Mario RPG, Moon, and UFO. A different sort of action RPG where you're not directly controlling the attacks of the main character, but you control movement and skill use. Help an alien scientist restore power to the downship by controlling Terry, a young boy unaware that the player controls his actions, and augmenting his skills with decal stickers. That's a weird one.
I heard a lot about this when it came out, and I'm like I never knew the details. Reading this like is fascinating.
Yeah,
Just especially the stickers part. What does that mean?
God only knows. And from Triscorp, Dragon Force. Unicorn Overlord is just a few months away, and I want to play something similar to it. Dragon Force. Considered one of the best tactical RPGs on the Saturn, and being able to handle 200 troops and full-scale magic without slowdown. And quite literally the inspiration for the band's name. They are not subtle about that. That
I actually never knew that.
No, those
Holy
guys are
crap.
a bunch of nerds. Absolute dorks. They 100% got their name from this game. Yeah, so
Yeah, love this game. Triscourt, you're on some shit, and I appreciate it.
I'd probably play it if only to see what inspired those guys. Listen, they made Symphony of the Night song, so you gotta at least play the game that gave them their name. And from Raw, we have Rogue Galaxy. Level 5. They make games that are interesting, right? Also, I want to be convinced to finish this. Gain skills by getting items and stuff. Go for completion. Or don't. You know, it's funny that you say that, Raw. I would actually say level 5 makes games that are the opposite of interesting. Not in a negative way, just that they make very standard, solid games that with good design fundamentals. So, you know, that's the thing. They don't make crazy stuff like, ooh, there's no, they just make a solid action RPG usually.
I mean, there's usually like a catch or a
Oh
you
yeah,
know
but it's
there's a
nothing
hook.
crazy. It's like they go for the solid core gameplay loop first, which is
They're very
respectable.
polished.
Yeah, exactly. They know what they're doing. And for Polari, Dungeon Master. 2024 is when the RPG Book Club is finally ready to embrace dungeon crawling. To which I believe, who was it that said that we just finished the dungeon crawler with Madou Monogatari?
I mean, we did Etrian Odyssey this year. That was a 3-monther.
Yeah, Polari, I'm not saying you're wrong to submit this game. I'm just saying we already have. So,
I mean, also, I'd totally play Dungeon Master and talk about it.
I'm
I'll
insane.
dungeon crawl all day.
From Someone325, Trials of Mana. Also known as Seiken Densetsu 3 in Japan, this sequel to Secret of Mana has 6 main characters and 3 different plot lines, with several ways to customize your party. In addition to the original SNES version, there is also a 3D remake that I know nothing about. This one's an interesting one, because the general consensus I've heard is that if you didn't like Secret of Mana, you might like Trials of Mana. And I didn't like Secret of Mana, so I'm very eager to play this one.
Now, so this is specifically the SNES one, not the remake?
No, remember, if it's in the book club, you can play whatever version you like. So I know I'd be
Okay.
playing the remake.
Because also, very different games as well.
Are they, like, that different?
So one of the things that, like, the SNES Trials of Mana has a reputation of is the SNES really cannot handle what it's trying to do at
Oh,
times.
oh, and the remake fully realized it. Okay. So
Like
that
they have very different gameplay style. Like they're
oh,
not that the SNES is not like a good version of it. It's still a good game, but like there are times when you're playing it and just like, oh, there are things happening here that probably should not be happening.
fair enough. It definitely sounds like it'd make for an interesting book club game either way.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. A lot of different paths based on what character you pick.
Would be an interesting one.
Very cool game.
And The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind from TPC. I've been in such a Morrowind mood recently, I guess I'm becoming a slightly more normal gamer. Something about a huge exploratory game embodies the spirit of New Year's for me. Even though this is one I'm sure a huge amount of people, including myself, have played, it's always worth a second look. Insert Dagoth meme here. It's
Morrowind for me has always been buffing your jump strength to a disgusting amount, and then
mean,
just jumping across the continent.
literally one of the first things you encounter in the game is the dude falling from the sky who did that exact thing. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's fantastic.
And from Persagax, Lufia 2 Rise of the Sinistrals. Probably a lot of people have played it, but it's a hidden gem of SNES RPGs, and anyone who hasn't really should. This would also give me an excuse to finally beat it. I've not played it, so I can't comment any more on that.
I'll also say like a third of this game is just a puzzle game.
Ah.
Like there are so many puzzles in this game, and they are not easy.
Oh boy. And that's it. So again, if you have not voted, make sure to go vote. You've only got like 20 hours ish before it closes. This is a bit of a last minute thing. Make sure to get in the Discord, get to voting, and keep an eye out because the game will probably be announced with the new year.
So if you can do me a favor before we wrap up. Justcore posted a picture of the fish. If you can show the people the fish.
I can show the people the fish.
Look at that boy.
There he is.
Let his vision fill you with the spirit of New Year's.
Happy New Year's, everybody. Joel. Yep. So, yeah, unless anyone else has any final thoughts on things, I suppose we're looking for who to raid. Dagda, you said you were going to play Killing Floor today? You going to start that soon or not for a while? I could send to raid your way if you're planning on starting up. Otherwise, who else is on? Not a ton because of New Year's, actually. I know, is anyone else on Twitch streaming Madou Monogatari? Of course not. Who the hell would be doing that? Could just do a thing while everyone's gathering up. Up to you. Like I said, I don't actually have any other raid targets right now, unless there's anyone in the mystery tournament sphere.
I'm not seeing anybody.
Mm-hmm. Oh, if you want to just go live, I'll send a raid over to you, Dagda. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed.
Who's a friend of Flannel Cat, but I don't think they're. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, give him no problem. We ain't in no rush. We are mostly chill because I think everyone's a little bit Christmased out and going into New Year's, so you know how those things go.
So, you got any plans for New Year's yourself, or?
Sit with Doggo.
Nice.
Sit with Doggo, and Doggo go, why fireworks go make loud bang? And I like, cause that's just what they do. And he's like, God, I don't like it. And I'm like, I know. I'd be flipping too.
Yeah, that's about the same here. People have been setting fireworks off in this neighborhood since like the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. I do not get this neighborhood.
There's just some people who are just like, oh boy, every day in December it's fireworks day. You're like, why? What's the point?
Like every day from like the middle of June all the way to the beginning of September.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is going to be setting off fireworks around here, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. It's pretty dumb. Oh, I'm half ready to fall back asleep. Basically gonna go collapse as soon as I get this raid out. Dagda go live. I wish to raid. Oh goodness. The real downside is now I want to play all the other Sorcery Saga games. But that's such a time investment though. Like there's so much game. Like, the whole series. At least now when I play Puyo Puyo, I can be like, I know who that is. I know who Ale is. I'm not here from the Tetris. I know who that is.
I'm not here from
He's baby. Ale is baby and must be protect.
I mean, in the actual games, she's an adult, or at least
in the later games, yeah.
Yeah.
But in the first one, she is baby. Look at her, she is so small. And look at Fish. He is Fish. Anyways, y'all have fun with Dagda. I am going to go collapse. Take care.
Right. Say Joel to Dagda. He'll know what you mean.